We are 1 week away from Bob's Bar 2025. Oh, let it wash all over you. Mraz joins us with a big announcement for Bob's Bar, and we're delving into the NBA Finals. It's time for Watch D.A. Live. Welcome, everybody, men, women, and children of all ages, D-aliens far and wide, whether you're watching on YouTube, on Twitter, or on Instagram Live, or maybe you're watching on delay on one of those platforms a little bit later on in the night. That's okay. We welcome you to the digital mothership. And tonight's going to be very special because it's our last episode before Bob's Bar, so we'll give you the full rundown of what's going to be going on next Sunday. Mraz joins us to give us the setting, okay, to set the scene before next weekend. And he tells me there's an enormous announcement to be made. He's going to join us later on in the program. And I'm going to delve into the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup Final, and Terry Bradshaw versus Aaron Rodgers. All of that coming up this evening here on the show. Plus, there's an exhale cocktail and a moment of sports zen. So, yeah, big show. Let me just tell you that sometimes life just has a funny way of knocking you down a peg, humbling you. And this week has been a wildly productive week, specifically with Bob's Bar. And I feel like with 1 week to go, I'm actually on time setting this whole thing up, and I'm not chasing my tail. But every so often, life likes to remind you, you don't really have it all taken care of. So today was an outdoor day, yard work day. Rained all day yesterday. We were out of town last weekend for the holiday, long weekend. And so I was finally getting everything done, weeding, mowing, cutting, washing, planting, all that type of stuff. Last chore of the day. Bourbon Bell asks me, can you hose out Rosie's kitty litter box? No problem. Last thing of the day. Now, I borrowed my dad's power washer because I was power washing the deck after all that over the winter stuff had kind of caked into the outdoor furniture, the outdoor rugs on the deck. I finally cleaned it nice. We're ready to go for the summer. Last thing of the day, I got Rosie the cat's kitty litter bucket. Now, you guys know. I'd do anything for Rosie. I love Rosie. Happily going to clean out her kitty litter. Take that power washer. Spray that gun right in there. Enormous tsunami of cat litter water splashes right back on me and coats me. And I smell that cat odor, the cat urine odor, the cat poopy odor, the everything odor. If you have a cat, you know that odor. And it was like, of course, it's too powerful. It's a big scoop. I shoot right in there. Disgusting. Totally disgusting. So before I came on tonight, I had to strip off all of those clothes, the shirt, the pants, the socks, the everything, and go right into the shower. Right in there. It was like, right, I don't have it all figured out. In fact, I'm kind of a bozo. Bob's Bar is going to be phenomenal. So here's the deal. We have the official RSVP and all information kind of pamphlet ready to go right now on Eventbrite. I've tweeted that out yesterday. I've posted it yesterday and today on Instagram. Do me a favor, please RSVP if you're coming, just so I have a head count on food and on drink, okay? Also, when you go there, you'll have the official address. You'll also see the official schedule of events. And here's how it's going to go. We're going to start things at noon. I'm going to go live at 1 o'clock, okay? 1 o'clock Eastern time for Watch D.A. Live. We will broadcast live 1 until 2, okay? So gates open at noon, 1 until 2. Come watch the show. In the middle of Watch D.A. Live at 1:30, we'll have the food delivered so everyone can enjoy their food before the live music starts. We'll have music going anyway, but on the Bluetooth speaker. And then live music, the American duo comes in at 2 and will perform 2 until 4, okay? In that spot, in that timeline, all right, we've got a brand new tradition coming up at 3 o'clock, okay, so right in between the halfway point of the live music, okay, brand new tradition. I'm excited. Nobody knows what we're doing. Nobody. I haven't told anybody this. This is all up here. And then we have a special guest coming after that I have not announced yet, okay? So all of that is taking place. American Duo is supposed to play until 4. If the party's rocking and we don't want them to leave, we have an extra hour if needed, okay? So we can do that until 5. We'll party. We'll eat. I believe we have a dessert ready to go by as well around that time. Maybe by 6 o'clock is when we'll all dissipate. I put 6 as the end time on this so that everybody involved knows we can't just crush it into the middle of the night, and for our host to be as hospitable as possible. Our host will be Upside Down Mike, his beautiful wife Michelle, and their 2 young daughters. They live just down the block from Mraz, as I've talked about the last couple of weeks, really the last couple of months. Mraz's dad, Bob, has had knee replacement surgery. Can't get up, can't get down, can't walk around, certainly cannot host a Bob's Bar thing. It would take cleaning the bar, cleaning the deck, cleaning the patio, cleaning the backyard, all that stuff. We said, we don't want to put you through that. Upside Down Mike was nice enough to say, hey, you can use my yard. This is going to be perfect. I site checked this week. I went out there on Wednesday to Mike's place. He's got such a good setup. Such a good setup. It's a huge yard. It's all bordered in by a beautiful white fence. And so we have kind of a perfect rectangle where everybody gets to hang out. He has his daughter's birthday party the day before, so he's got a giant tent already rented. He's got the tables, he's got the chairs, we've got space, he's got a deck where I'm going to broadcast live from, so it's going to be elevated. It's such a good setup. We got a spot for the band, a spot for the tent, a spot for the food, a spot for the beer, a spot for the broadcast. I couldn't draw it up better. So I'm so excited about this. In terms of parking, it's all on there. The Eventbrite RSVP. Free parking. Don't worry. It's all on the block. Just don't block anybody's driveway. Should be plenty of parking all over the place. And it's close enough to where Bob and Nancy can come down and say hello because, we want them to be there. So we'll ask Mraz if they're going to make it when he comes on the show a little bit later on. But it's going to be so good. I'm like delighted at how good this is going to be. And it's really set up well. I don't want to jinx anything, but right now weather looks very good in the 70s and sunny. So if that's the way that it is, absolutely beautiful. But we'll take whatever we can do, rain or shine. We're doing it on Sunday. And I've already got some amazing RSVPs. We're talking about people coming from miles and miles, states away. We've got the classics coming. We've got the captain of the team, Kristen in Buffalo, coming. We got Randy in Ohio coming. He's going to perform Paradise City, which is awesome. We've got Moist Pork coming. We've got Backwards Brian coming. Iron Man Shaun is coming in from South Carolina. How about that? He's driving in from South Carolina. Gordon in Vancouver is flying in. That's right. He's coming back from Vancouver. We got 4K Worldwide, who was in Oakland. Him and Gordon in Vancouver, remember, had the tie for the 2023 Bob's Bar. Who came from the farthest away because 4K Worldwide was in Oakland, Avery. He has moved to Vegas. He's coming out. He just DM'd me this week. He's like, I got my plane ticket. I'm coming out. Unbelievable. So people are coming far and wide. As you know, Robbie Rosenhaus, he was on the show last week coming in from Minnesota. He's flying in. Okay, we got Gelb. We got Robbie Rosenhaus. We got Mraz. We got the old crew. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. I cannot wait. And the live broadcast is coming your way. If you can't be there, 1 until 2 o'clock Eastern time is when we will broadcast live. So what could be better? I am obviously all fired up, and I just think it's going to be a historic day. I really do. A historic day. So I wanted this to all kind of culminate with new things going on to this YouTube channel. Aiden and I have worked for 18 months on this YouTube channel, on this show, on video content, on doing something interactive with you guys, and it has just been amazing. So I wanted the Bob's Bar show to be the next iteration. So the live show is coming, which is awesome, but also DA show merch is coming as well. I talked to Brian at Last Dive Bar. He assures me it's going to be here for the weekend. We will have your first eyes on the merch, and the merch store will be live at Bob's Bar. Obviously, it's going to be online. So when we are at Bob's Bar, you'll get your first look at the merch, and then the merch store should be open for you guys right there to go online and knock out what you want to knock out, which is pretty awesome. The next thing also as part of that is I wanted to do something where it was kind of inner sanctum, okay? Because what I love about this show and what I love about the Hardcore D-Aliens is I really do feel like I know every one of you. Even if I've never met you, I do feel this connection. And for those that I have met, or we have exchanged social media messages, or you've called into the show or emailed the show or whatever, I do really feel quite a kinship. And I want to do something where I'm giving you guys exclusive stuff in an intimate space where it's kind of just us. So we've termed this the Jedi Council. And if you want to be a Jedi Council member, it is $3.99 a month and it is exclusive time with us here on the channel, with me, and getting exclusive videos and live chats. We're doing a long-form interview series called Q&DA, and the first guest was Dan Moore, a writer in the Bay Area about the Sacramento A's nonsense. That's the first guest. All of the Q&DAs will be free as always, as they've always been. That content doesn't change. Nothing really changes about the content that you're going to see as you've normally seen it. But I want to do a deep dive on every one of these long-form interviews. And so I'm calling this the raw feed. And the raw feed is when you take video or audio from a press conference, from on-site reporting, what have you, and you take it into the studio, it's called the raw feed. And that is unpolished, unedited, just completely raw, that you've got to, polish it up to make it ready for air. These conversations will be totally raw, totally unfiltered, and just unedited, unpolished. And they are only for the Jedi Council members, okay? So that's my deep dive, my exclusive content for those that want more. And then also once a month, we will do a Q&DA live chat where just for Jedi Council members, you can ask me anything you want, and, everything is a go. Because behind a kind of membership exclusivity, I don't have to worry about stuff being taken out of context. I don't have to worry about people taking that, using it on social media, whatever. Those things unfortunately do happen sometimes. You use it, you take it, it's on a Reddit thread somewhere, and suddenly, it blows up in your face. So that's why we want to do it this way. That's why I want to do it that way. So it's pretty easy. If you want to pay the $3.99 a month, go ahead, knock it out tonight. It's we'll have multiple raw feed videos up in the next 2 weeks. Right now, there's only one, but they're obviously going to come in the next couple of weeks. I'll do the first live chat, and then also it's going to get you discounts on the merch. And so the DA Show merch store, if you're a subscriber, if you're a member, if you're a Jedi Council member, I'm obviously going to knock off money on any of the T-shirts or any of the beer mugs or anything that you want to pay for or want to purchase from the merch store. So hopefully what I'm doing is what we're all doing here is making it worth your while in multiple ways. And, one of the things I want to do is create a real intimate group here, but also the guys like Aiden, who I've asked to work for free for 18 months, I want to make sure that I can pay him. And the other guys that have asked, hey, I need a volunteer. I need you to work for free. It's kind of a dollar and a dream. We're going to get somewhere. I want to make sure I start rewarding those guys. And so this is a way for me to do so. And hopefully you guys want to support the channel and want to support Aiden and those who have helped me out do this as well. And so that's kind of where we are with that. If you go to the channel, it should say next to subscribe, a button right next to it that says join. It should. Most do. I believe some browsers, iOS systems, or certain phones, it might not show up. But if you just look at the description, there's a URL that you can copy and paste into a browser. Okay? So just so you know, everything you've normally gotten on the channel for free, you're going to get. Nothing is suddenly going to be behind a paywall. But for extra bonus content, other stuff, if you really want to kind of get more from this experience, that's why we're going to do this like that. And I'm going to use that as kind of a test case to see what you guys want me to interview, who you want me to interview, who you want me to talk about, what you want me to talk about. And I will use that as kind of a test kitchen where I'll say, okay, any ideas for next guest? I've got A, B, C. We'll have you guys vote and be like, oh, we want B. All right, let's do B and let's see. And it'll be a way for you also to start to kind of put your own stamp on what we do here on this channel. It's one of the beautiful things about YouTube is this complete freedom that I have. We are not wedded to time. We're not wedded to commercials. We're not wedded to executives. We're not wedded to program directors, the whims of corporate. We just get to do exactly what we want to do. And I love that. And that's why I have made it such a priority to do Bob's Bar. And I know in the Northeast, it's not easy for everybody to get to. If you live in the South, out West, the Midwest, it's not easy. My hope is that as we build this thing, Bob's Bar becomes something we can take multiple places around the country to make sure everybody has a chance to experience and to be part of it. Because one of the beautiful things about this is that doing the radio shows that I've done in multiple markets or then on national, it's like there's plenty of places I can go and really feel at home because there's listeners there and people will come there. And I don't want to just put it in one place where it's hard for some people to get to. I realize budgets can be tough, travel time can be tough, kids, family, all that stuff. So that's also part of growing this into something that we can bring the show a lot of different cool places. So hopefully you are with me on all of this, along for the ride. I can't thank you enough, but the Bob's Bar thing is so important to me. And the fact that we have such a good response already. So far, I've got RSVPs from like 5 different states, which is just unbelievable. And I'm so grateful. It's going to be so much fun. And it's such an amazing, exciting step in bringing everybody together and making us feel like we're one big dysfunctional, crazy family, which is exactly how we want to feel and exactly who we are. It's a gorgeous thing. Okay, without further ado, let us get into your Furious Five. Game 6 goes to the Pacers, and Indiana's going to the NBA Finals for the first time in 25 years. And to me, the most impressive takeaway was the Indiana Pacers, a pretty young team, a pretty green team, seized the moment and lived up to the moment. In this series, there were 2 gut check, 3 gut check moments. And the Pacers took all 3. Game 1, down 12, 2.5 to play. The Pacers come all the way back and nearly win it in regulation on the Tyrese Halliburton 3 that was a 2. Then, in overtime, when maybe they could be demoralized because it wasn't a game winner, take game one. Gut check number one. Number two, game two, when the Knicks knew they had to split at home, you have to get game number two. The Pacers had already gotten their road victory, were not satisfied. Game two, the urgency was on the Pacers, and Indiana takes game two, the second gut check. And then game six at home. Game six at home was the closeout game. You couldn't really let this thing go back to Madison Square Garden without feeling a little squeamish. And not only did the Pacers win game six, but won in a flourish. And that was a break-your-neck kind of performance from everybody on the Pacers. Gut check three. For an Indiana team that had been to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, but had not been to the NBA Finals, for a team that has Pascal Siakam, who has some experience, but by and large, a bunch of players that are just kind of growing together, Tyrese Halliburton, Nesmith, Nembhard, go down the list. These guys, Obi Toppin, these guys came through something together and recognized this is the moment. That's rare, and it's impressive to watch. And I thought, that's really impressive from the Pacers because they were ready for this. And maybe it was just about last year, but I think it was also coaching. Rick Carlisle is a wizard. I think Tyrese Halliburton's desire to be more recognized, a bigger star, a villain, whatever that is that's inside of him, he wanted that, and it filtered down to everybody else. And then also the experience they had together and the style of play. They had played together long enough to where they knew one another. They were comfortable with one another. They knew what to expect. And that frantic, frenetic, push-the-pace style of basketball can put the opponent on its heels constantly, and it did that to the Knicks throughout the entire series. Such an impressive performance by the Pacers. I thought it was fantastic. The scene last night at the Fieldhouse was awesome, and Indiana's the state of basketball. So good on you. That was awesome. Great job by the Pacers. And when I talk about familiarity with one another, an expectation of what I know my teammate's going to deliver, that did not exist on the other side. Which brings us to Furious 5, number 2. This is going to be a long offseason for the Knicks for a couple of reasons. Number one, you never know when you get that crack again. Home court advantage in the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, it's been 25 years since the Knicks got to an Eastern Conference Finals. And this one, they had home court in it. But also, when I talk about the familiarity and the belief, the trust that the Pacers had in one another, the Knicks did not have that. As soon as the Knicks were eliminated, you wake up this morning and suddenly there's a report in The Athletic about how the Knicks consistently were frustrated by Karl Anthony Towns' lack of commitment or whatever it was, flightiness towards defense, that they did not know where he was going to be. They did not understand what he was trying to do, and that there were things this year beyond just Big Cat where the Knicks were at odds at times. And the Mikal Bridges thing this year was ongoing throughout the entire season. You trade away all these draft picks, and what do you deliver? Poor shooting, a hodgepodge on defense, and very inconsistent, sometimes invisible, ghost-like play during the regular season. Now, there were a couple of tremendous defensive plays that Mikal Bridges made in the Celtics series, but this Knicks team, having traded Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo to get Karl Anthony Towns, lost some of the bond and the trust that they had last year. And this is going to be a long offseason because now there's already people that want to trade Karl Anthony Towns, which I don't know if he's tradable with that contract. And I don't know if you want to blow it up or change parts again after just one season. But you saw the Knicks in this series on their heels so often. And I think one of the things, and, look, I did take glee in watching the Knicks falter, not because I dislike the Knicks, but because Knicks fans had gotten so far ahead of themselves. They were so obnoxious, so many of them, and so aggressive that it was like, you guys need to be cut down to size just a little bit. How many of you have been around since the Knicks were last good in the 90s? How many of you are really just out here trying to make trouble? How many of you say you're a Knicks fan but really aren't a Knicks fan? How many of you really know basketball? And how many of you are just here to party and punch other people in the face and to taunt Brian Windhorst? Because that's a big line. And I was just, to act as though you'd won anything after going to the Eastern Conference Finals after beating the Celtics with slow the roll. And there was such an arrogance about this. Oh, higher seed, home court advantage, can't stop the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, yada, yada, yada. Well, the Pacers proved what great basketball was, and the Knicks didn't play great basketball. And in the offseason, they have to really contemplate this with themselves. Are we capable of playing great basketball when Jalen Brunson's high usage, when he's on the floor with Karl Anthony Towns, it feels like Big Cat sometimes gets pushed to the background. Both those guys are problems defensively. Mikal Bridges comes and goes. Josh Hart plays most of the game and looks absolutely awful. They don't have a great bench to go to. Tom Thibodeau might be, kind of a second-rate coach in terms of when he matches up against really great coaches. There's a lot of questions there. And can you win with this current roster at the highest level, getting to an NBA Finals or winning an NBA championship? Plus, how often do you get this chance when you had it in your building, games 1, games 2, and game 7, and you blew them all? You lost 1 and 2, and it didn't even get to a game 7. How often will you ever have that chance? In an East that broke open. Jason Tatum goes down. The Cleveland Cavaliers is a 64-win team. They go down as the 1 seed. Giannis goes down in the first round. All of these potential roadblocks were pushed out of your way. And this is what you got. Losing 6 of the Pacers. That's going to be a long offseason. Next up on the NBA. What we are seeing, what we are witnessing, is Adam Silver's NBA. Under David Stern, Stern was absolutely locked in. He was married to stars, big markets, big ratings. That's what he believed. Stars, stars, stars. If you were going to get big ratings, you needed stars, stars, stars. And under David Stern, Bird versus Magic became the thing. Ultimately, you had Michael Jordan become the thing. Under David Stern, you had the never-ending quest for the next superstar. You had Shaq and Kobe. And you had, I would say, manipulations that David Stern kind of willfully watched happen or did himself to make sure that the stars were at the big teams in the big markets so that the league was propped up. He was all about stars. Well, Adam Silver now has an Oklahoma City Thunder and an Indiana Pacers in the NBA Finals. This is the parity that I think Adam Silver has sought. Love it or hate it, I think this is what Silver wants. And I believe that Adam Silver has looked at the NFL and said, let's keep trying to copy that. Let's keep trying to copy that. The NFL has done great because you wake up on September 1st and everybody around the NFL says, hey, you look at the schedule, you win a game here or there. We might be a wild card this year. Can 8-9 get a wild card spot? And you start turning yourself into, if that works with 10-7, we can win the division at 10-7. Then we have a whole playoff game, and who knows? Everybody around the NFL, by and large, wakes up and says, there's a path for us to have a great season. In the NBA, it was a third of the league woke up on Halloween and said, I think we can have a great season. A third of the league. And then let's face it, it became even less than that, 5 or 6 teams. This year, yeah, the Thunder was a 68-win team, but look where the Thunder was just a couple of years ago. One of the worst teams in basketball. The Pacers, a 4 seed, and this is your NBA Finals. Small markets, not huge star power. Halliburton versus SGA will be notable for basketball fans, but non-basketball fans, how many people will know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Tyrese Halliburton? Not many. This will not move the meter on a national level unless it gets to a Game 6 and a Game 7, unless there are some monster performances. And if Oklahoma City does what Vegas thinks, then it's not going to get to 6 or 7. But this NBA is Adam Silver's NBA. And just note, I was surprised. And look, maybe I've got a dot or two of conspiracy theory when it comes to the NBA etched in my brain because of so many other things. Tim Donaghy, frozen envelopes, the Chris Paul trade that never happened, all that type of stuff. But the referees never tried to rob the Pacers of this series. And under David Stern, did it not always feel like you could look at that and go, well, there's going to be a makeup call there. Well, they're getting this thing back to New York for Game 7. Well, the Pacers will have to beat both the Knicks and the refs. I never felt like the Knicks were getting the huge benefit of the doubt. In fact, sometimes it felt like they were getting the raw end of the stick. And even though the Mavs somehow won the freaking draft lottery, the Pacers and Thunder are in the NBA Finals, and there was no referee funny business. So that's something. Also, Adam Silver's NBA. Here's what you're going to look at next year in terms of finding the NBA. Monday nights on Peacock, Tuesday nights on NBC, Wednesday nights on ESPN, Thursday nights on Amazon. Got it? Friday on ESPN and Amazon, Saturday, ESPN, Amazon, ABC, Sunday, NBC at night, and ESPN and ABC in the afternoons. It's scattered. It's all over the place. But Adam Silver wanted to put things on digital, on streaming, and didn't mind spreading the wealth. Instead of just having TNT and ESPN, he said, let's give it to a million different parties. I don't think that's great, but it's Adam Silver's NBA. And because he just got that TV contract done, and now he washes his hands and got all the money, I think, it's like, hey, and now we sell parity. Now we sell all teams have a chance. And we sell middle markets and small markets can hold on to Giannis. Middle markets and small markets can hold on to their stars. They can sign and re-sign. And it's, look, the Celtics are the ones in the double apron. Oh, my God. What are they going to do? They got to blow it up. That's what Adam Silver has sought. A football note here. Terry Bradshaw. Bradshaw goes after Aaron Rodgers earlier this week when he's doing local radio in Arkansas and rips Rodgers and says, he wouldn't even know my name. I had to introduce myself. You talk to him, it's like a blizzard. It's snowing because it's so cold. It's frosty, all that type of stuff. And he essentially says, if you don't want to play, then take a hike because the Steelers are the Steelers. And while Terry Bradshaw might sometimes come off as old guy, maybe out of touch guy, and there's certainly an argument to be made, well, isn't Aaron Rodgers at 41, even if he doesn't play in OTAs and doesn't report until July or August, better than Mason Rudolph, better than what the Steelers have? You can make that argument. But I think that Terry Bradshaw is the only guy that can say how the other guys feel. Bradshaw is on Fox. They're not going to take that job away from him because he says something about Aaron Rodgers. Bradshaw's probably not even long for Fox. He's going to retire here soon. And even when he's been on Fox, he's kind of been a bit of a Barkley character, say whatever he wants to say. I think your Mean Joe Greens, your Mel Blunts, your Rocky Blyers, your James Harrisons, your Hines Wards, those guys who have won championships, Super Bowls, they know what it's like to watch the 70 Steelers come in and share that ring, share that Lombardi, share that glory. I think the 70 Steelers, who knew there was no star. I mean, the most famous players of the team were oftentimes the defensive players because as a unit, they were so great. Ham and Lambert and Green and Greenwood and Blunt, and the list goes on and on. You know, for those guys, the stalwart, the Swans, who they would catch 30 passes a year, Chuck Noll made sure nobody was bigger than the Steelers. The only way you could succeed is if everybody bought in, and they all did. They all did. And I think what Bradshaw is saying is, this is not your normal franchise. This isn't just a team that has no history or legacy and they're desperate for anything. This isn't the Jaguars, the Cardinals. This is a proud franchise with proud former players and alumni. And watching Aaron Rodgers say, I got stuff to take care of. Maybe I'll play. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll be a Steeler. Maybe I won't. Well, maybe the Vikings are still open. Maybe I'm not interested. Maybe I'll retire. That is insulting to Steelers players who actually have hardware, that actually knows what those colors and that helmet and that history and that team means. It's insulting. And I was happy that at least one of them said that because I think they're all nodding in agreement, but they don't want to say it because if Rodgers becomes the Steelers quarterback, they don't want to create a firestorm with the team that they love, with the franchise that invites them back. I think the Steelers are embarrassing themselves by putting all the eggs in the basket of a guy that is so much about himself. And they put themselves in an impossible situation because either you beg for Aaron Rodgers and let him do whatever he wants, or it's Mason Rudolph under center for week number 1 and beyond. I think it's embarrassing that the Steelers have done this to themselves. And what Bradshaw said there, I believe, resonates with all of those guys who have won for the Steelers and played for the Steelers and look at Aaron Rodgers like, who do you think you are? All right. I want to play for you a little bit of an interview that we had on Q&DA this week, which is Dan Moore, writer for The Athletic and The Ringer and The Atlantic. He wrote this great piece about the bizarre, weird situation between Sacramento and the A's. This was part of a long-form interview I did with him, which is the Q&DA series. This was episode number 1. Let's play for you some of the best snippet of Dan Moore from this week. Well, you guys know around here we have certainly been watching with a keen eye at the saga that has unfolded in the Bay Area around the Oakland A's and now in Sacramento, and we'll see what happens in Las Vegas. There was a fascinating, fantastic piece done by the author Dan Moore in The Ringer a couple of weeks ago, right after opening day, about what is going on in Sacramento. Now, he's an East Bay native, and he's been to many an A's game over the years. His work has appeared in The Atlantic, the San Francisco Chronicle, and Baseball Prospectus. Again, this piece was done in The Ringer recently, so certainly worth your while. Joining us here on the show is Dan Moore. Dan, how you doing?
Doing well, Damon. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So when you wrote this piece, it was after opening day when there was a lot of vigor and excitement in the crowd in Sacramento, first baseball game in the city. And then you also went back after another homestand, and the interest was beginning to wane. Now we're 2 weeks later than that, and earlier this week they had less than 10,000 people in that ballpark for the first-place Mariners against the second-place A's in the AL West. So at the moment, where is interest and excitement levels like in Sacramento?
I think a lot of the people that I spoke to, there's a a core of excited fans there who want this to work. But I think what you're seeing is evidence that perhaps Fisher and the people behind the A's overestimated how innately excited maybe Sacramentans would be about their particular baseball product. And maybe what you're seeing is that there are repercussions when you uproot a team that was an institution in the community that it came from, sever it from that community, and then plop it somewhere new without much recognition of that new place, or without much respect for that new place. And I think everyone I talked to for the piece suggested that maybe the bad attendance is a product of things like John Fisher not putting Sacramento on the front of the jerseys, and also simultaneously putting Las Vegas all over the stadium and all over the jerseys. I think you're seeing a reaction to that. And so the waning excitement is, I think, something that maybe John Fisher accidentally manufactured himself.
Well, and we're only a little over a month into this, and this is supposed to be a 3-year process. So they've certainly burned a lot of goodwill at a very fast rate. But then again, this is what John Fisher does. As you noted in the piece, the Sacramento A's had priced their fans at the highest ticket in Major League Baseball, which on its surface seems complete insanity until you consider the owner here. And then quickly thereafter began slashing prices and offering 2 for $20 packages. So that in itself, right, it must have so many Sacramento season ticket holders just completely peeved off, considering the value of what they invested in the offseason was undercut by the team within a month.
Yeah, it's almost as if the people behind the organization have set out to upset as many people as possible, including those who were so excited about the team that they signed up for season tickets. One person I spoke to, a sort of sports luminary up there in Sacramento, Carmichael Dave, said that it seems like John Fisher is on a mission to execute the worst PR campaign humanly possible. And it sort of continues.
You cannot, if you're not in it, understand how bad John Fisher is at all of this. And it's hard to say whether it's purposeful or he's just this much of an ignoramus and he has surrounded himself by people that are bad at this or cannot say no to things. But it's like every step of the way, if you were running some type of PR or marketing campaign or class, you'd say, well, what would you do here? And Fisher and the A's do the opposite. And so here we reside, and your piece is about this kind of like paradoxical relationship that Sacramento right now has with the A's. On the one hand, they want to invest their hearts because they believe this might be able to lead them to an expansion team down the road. On the other hand, they're already getting a class in John Fisher Says Screw You 101, where they're like, oh, wait, we have to believe in this guy and his product and his cause. So how much of a kind of a torturous in-between do Sacramento baseball fans kind of reside in right here?
Oh, they're in some ways an impossible situation. And I think, what they are dealing with right now, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. What they are experiencing is pushing the boundaries of what is possible to manufacture in your own way of civic will and civic interest in a team. It's like, how one-sided can this possibly be? The way I see it, I would be mightily impressed if Sacramento summoned the enthusiasm and the energy to do something like sell out Sutter Health Park for the rest of the season, let alone 3 seasons. And it would be impressive from one perspective because it would be entirely self-generated, right? It would not be the product of the organization investing in the community or doing much of anything to excite or generate goodwill within the community. It would be Sacramento deciding, taking a look in its own soul and saying, okay, we're going to do this for the city, right? Like for us, and we're going to, decide on our own to try to put on a good audition. There are other ways to look at this, right? Like I know people in Oakland, some feel betrayed by Sacramento for the city's support or relative support of the team so far. I don't necessarily begrudge Sacramentans who want to go to an A's game and enjoy it and who want to go see Major League Baseball. I spoke with many people for the piece, fathers of young boys who have been, driving down to A's games for years and who, in fact, took part in the protests against John Fisher and against Rob Manfred and what was being done to Oakland, and who didn't necessarily want the A's to end up in Sacramento, but now have found them in their backyard. And so I bring that up because I don't think it's entirely productive to, pit fan bases against each other here. I do think, though, what you are seeing in Sacramento is an example of, they're on their own up there right now. Oakland fans know what they're up against and dealing with. And Sacramento, I think, and Sacramento fans are making the conscious decision and will continue to make the conscious decision of, do we go to bat for ourselves here? Or, at some point, do we decide it isn't worth it?
It's like this. The war isn't over because this cannot ever end because John Fisher's at the helm and it's still such a fakakta plan and a ridiculous. It's not even a plan. It's really not a plan. And so it's really not over. We have to just keep talking about it and illuminating it and educating people about it.
Yep.
This piece in The Ringer by Dan Moore is excellent. Go to theringer.com, click on the MLB tab. It is one of the top 3 pieces over there. And also under his byline, you will see the piece from 2 years ago about this relocation that I think A's fans, it's a real interesting read, and just baseball fans and sports fans in general. It's worth their time as well. And Dan has written for a number of great sports institutions. And so he's got a lot of good work out there if you want to check it out. As I mentioned before, The Atlantic, the San Francisco Chronicle, Baseball Prospectus, and now The Ringer as well. Dan, awesome, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for writing that piece. I know a lot of A's fans appreciated it, and we'll see where this thing goes. And my guess is you and I will be in touch.
Thank you, Damon. Appreciate it.
You got it. Dan Moore joining us, everybody, here on the show. Yep, and as I said, the full interview, that's about a half hour long or so, is available right now on the YouTube channel under Q&DA. That's going to be the new long-form interview series. Then My Deep Dive is going to be an exclusive video, which you can get if you join the channel for $3.99 a month. My Deep Dive, another half hour on that, and routinely going forward, all the Q&DA interviews that we do. We'll do videos about those for members only. So check that out. If you go to the channel, you will either see join at the top of this channel, or you will see the link in the description where you can just copy and paste into your browser. Well, on Sunday, this thing has really come together. And it all started once upon a time, a backyard bar owned by Bob Morash. Joining us here on the show is his eldest, his son, Shaun Mraz. Mraz, welcome to the proceedings. Are you still golfing?
I'm not golfing. I figured what better way to do this show a week out from Bob's Bar than from Bob's by the Bay. So I came out my backyard here, sitting at the bar. I figured it could set the mood. It would set the tone for a good outdoor event that we should be a part of in a week.
Love it. Now give us the update on Bob's knees, because as I announced a couple of weeks ago, we were going to move this over to Upside Down Mics. Then today, it's official. It's in the Eventbrite RSVP shot sheet. So where's Bob at with his knees?
Monumental day for Bob yesterday. There is a local Italian feast in West Babylon, ironically going on the weekend before. I think they're calling it Bob's Bar Eve. And he was able, with all the grandkids, to, using a stroller, to stand up, push, and walk the half a mile up the block to the fair. So Bob's knees, it was a huge progress. And I think Bob's target date to feel like, he's ready for the big leagues is probably going to end up being the 4th of July here. I think that's what we're looking at. It's been a slow go, but he's pumped it up here a little bit.
He's relieved, though, that he's not hosting Bob's Bar this year.
I think he's a little dejected. I think Nancy's relieved. I think Bob loves it. I think Bob's a little dejected. I think it's thrown my mom a little bit into a frenzy. Everything, we have new grandkids in the family on top of knee surgeries. And I think my mom's a little all stirred up, but no, I think Bob is going to miss hosting the event greatly. And honestly, he's going to miss Randy's cookies. I think that's obviously been top of mind for sure.
Can we get Bob and Nancy to make a guest appearance to say hello, kind of like royalty stopping on by?
I'm gonna shoot for that. I think that's very much in play. There's some moving parts. There are bridal showers involved next week throughout the female side of my family, but I think at some point that is the target for sure.
Well, I'm so excited because as we announced on the show last week, he who shall not be named, songbird of a new generation, Robbie Rosenhaus, will be attending Bob's Bar. This is big.
It's huge. And I want to thank you personally, because now that he is, I've been flooded with 2 weeks worth of texts from he who shall not be named. And now it's becoming harder and harder to leave those things on read for a day or two. So I really want to thank you for that. That was a nice blindside I was given. But no, who doesn't love seeing Robbie? You can't help but smile every time you see him.
I talked to him over the phone and we had a good 45-minute conversation, caught up about everything. There's a lot going on in Robbie's life routinely. So career-wise, dating life, everything. It was something else. So I got the full download 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
no doubt about it. So full disclosure, next weekend, my daughters are old enough to take dance now. They are in a dance recital as well. Not on Sunday, but I had this whole thing. Robbie's basically looking to latch on to me for 72 hours next week. I said, Robbie, I love you. I'm going to see you Sunday, though. There's not much I could do here for you. It's a rough go. But yeah, he's got a lot going on. I'm really pumped up to see him, though. I am
too. Now, he said he's willing to sing whatever we need him to sing. So that's big. I think there should be a national anthem involved because that's really going to kick off the proceedings. I don't know if there's going to be some Sinatra, maybe. We'll see. Maybe some Billy Joel. He's always good for something.
Yeah, for sure. I was told today, it's a real shame, at that Italian feast I went to, they brought an Italian singer up to a stage, and I guess that person was smoking a cigarette while singing as well. So Robbie, probably a week late. I think the town really could have used him, or maybe he rejuvenates the town because the smell of Camel cigarettes to go with Sinatra is not exactly what they're going for.
So last week when I said Mystery Legend is going to be joining us to announce his intentions for Bob's Bar, and that it was Robbie, I will say some people were super, super excited. Yeah, Robbie's going to be there. Others said, that's the legend?
Does that sum up Robbie's career or not? I mean, geez.
So you have a massive announcement for an appearance of a legend coming to this party.
I have two announcements. Number one, I can confirm Bob's Bar will not be the location of the relocated A's. Unfortunately, we reached out. We are not going to break ground on the stadium there. That's number one. Number two, yes, we do have a special guest to announce. Maybe heavier than he who should not be named. The great Badlands Booker is confirmed to be at the Bob's Bar show.
Badlands! We've got Badlands Booker in the house coming. Oh, all universe is coming together. All the stars aligning. That's beautiful. Did you have to twist his arm, or he was pretty good just doing it?
I mean, look, Badlands, there's no twisting his arm. You ask him to be somewhere. I didn't know, right? I'll be honest with you. I hadn't been great about keeping up in touch with Badlands. He's a friend of the show, as he has been for a long time. Texted him. He answered me within a day. And was so cordial about it. Just send me the address. I'll be there, whatever you need me to do. And the ironic part about this, DA, is you announced that Robbie's on the show last week, and he kind of is like a jukebox, right? You put a quarter in, he'll sing whatever you need him to sing. Badlands is the food and drinking version of that. You put a quarter in him, folks. If you've never seen him in person, he'll eat whatever you need him to eat. He'll chug whatever you need him to chug. He is a jukebox of his own sort. So, look, those who have been a part of the Bob's Bar shows in the past know how special Badlands is to the fabric of all of it. He's been so gracious with his time before, and he's really put on some memorable moments. I mean, whether it's chugging a smoking hot box of Joe from Dunkin' Donuts, and that's no joke. He did that, and we were all in awe. Whether that was catching donuts from a long snapper that's now in the transfer portal in the NCAA, another tremendous moment. Badlands has has given us a lot of laughs and a lot of great memories. And I can't wait to see what's in store next. And I'm really, truly excited. And for anybody making a trip out, I really mean this. Badlands Booker is one of those people. He's kind of like a unicorn. You really shake his hand, have a conversation with him. He's seen a lot of places. He's eaten a lot of things, and he's just a salt of the earth great guy. So I can't wait to have him a part of it.
He is such an awesome guy. That is so exciting. Badlands Booker will be in the house on Sunday. This is great. I was thinking if he was going to come by, now that he's all about Badland Chugs, this is his YouTube channel. It's all about how much he can drink. I'm thinking, how about a 2-liter of strawberry soda? You know, it's like generic soda. You could only get it. It's like, you know, no actual brand makes it, but you always see the 2-liter strawberry.
I know what you mean. Yeah. You can't, is that even a store brand? It's like below store brand. Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Yeah. I see. What's funny is my reaction, and I'm sure a lot of the audience's reaction is, oh, that's disgusting. Badlands' reaction, it's like stepping up to the batter's box at Yankee Stadium. You kidding me? Strawberry soda? This is nothing. But I think that would be great. I think that would be awesome. I really can't wait for it.
All right. This is great. And I've heard through the grapevine that you may have reached out to perhaps an ice cream man.
Yes, Edward. We call him Eddie in the streets. Eddie, the ice cream man. I believe, you know, it's like anything. Eddie on Watch. Yeah, check back in me Wednesday. Sure, shouldn't be a problem. I just got to go over the weekend schedule, festival time. But at some point, I think you're going to hear the ding-a-ling-a-linging. You know, you want to get your cone. You want to get your shake. I'm sorry. As you're saying that, my ice cream man, I just heard in the distance. Wow. And I think that's like, I think that's meant to be. I might have to dabble tonight. Okay. That means I can't believe that just happened. You just caught me in the fattest moment ever. But yes, Eddie, the ice cream man will be there. I look, as times have passed here and, the sad times that I've left the DA show, I've also coordinated with a wingman. And I mean, literally a wingman. I think I might be, barreling in some chicken wings for everybody to enjoy as well. I think that's on the docket. I'm going to try this. Okay. Hope you like Thai buffalo.
Oh my God. I've never even had that combination.
Of course.
Gordon in Vancouver confirmed coming out from Vancouver.
No. You have that wrong. Oh. He's confirmed. He's not coming out from Vancouver. He's coming from Japan.
He's still going to be in Tokyo. I know he's in Tokyo right now. I thought he was coming back to Vancouver and then here.
I know way too much about Gordon and Vancouver's travels in life, to be honest with you. Like probably way too much. But yeah, I'm getting a daily diary in my Instagram DMs of his Japan travels. But he told me it's a Japan to, I think, Toronto layover. I don't think he's going home, from what I understand, back down to New York. So, I mean, literally, the man is coming from Asia to be here.
That is incredible.
By the way, Upside Down Mike, thanks for hosting. Good luck getting Gordon from Asia out of there. I mean, not going to happen. You make the trip from the Eastern world. You think he's leaving anytime soon? No. You might as well put up a cot.
Avery, a.k.a. 4K Worldwide, who came in from Oakland for Bob's Bar 2 years ago, is coming in from Vegas. So he's coming.
Vegas?
Yeah. Iron Man Shaun is making the drive from South Carolina, just like he did a couple of years ago.
He's the best. I can't wait to see him as well.
Moist Pork, Randy in Ohio, Kristen in Buffalo, Backwards Brian. All these are confirmed. And I'm getting RSVPs left and right now with the Eventbrite RSVP thing. So, like,
that's great. That's a great event.
We're going to have really good old school D-aliens there.
Yeah, and a pretty good update, I think, for everybody. We've probably targeted, and DA did a good job of this weeks out, picking a good weekend to do this. So we've had a really unseasonably chilly spring / start to the summer here. I mean, even today it was another, 62 degrees or whatever. But around midweek here on Long Island, we're going to get back up into the 80s, and the early temperatures look about like 74 degrees, probably at its peak for this Bob's Bar show. And I think that's perfect, right? I mean, it's not extremely hot, but we're not in that chilly, we're going to totally need to bundle up spot. I think we're looking at perfect weather for all of you to travel in. I think it'd be a great time. I'm really looking forward to it, rocking out. Can't wait. Matter of fact, right before I signed on here was bedtime in the Mraz house. And Taylor, who some of you listeners might remember her being born, is 5, approaching 6, acting like she's 14. I told her, I can't lay with you right now. I got to go talk to DA, baby. And her, right out of her mouth went, how come I haven't seen DA in a while? I said, well, it's funny you should say that, Taylor. You should probably be able to see him Sunday. So she's all jacked up as well. So she's excited to see you.
That's awesome. We just got a comment from Matt Carberry, who says he's going to be flying with his wife from Calgary. So that's a long.
I see Matt still in my Twitter mentions. What's up, Matt? All right.
Yeah. So Matt's going to be coming in. And that's so great to be able to see Taylor and Peyton. So everybody's going to be able to see.
My wife is going to pop over after her bridal shower as well. So We're
Awesome.
moving things around here. We're going to be good to go.
Awesome. Now, Caserta is going to be there.
I heard.
He's confirmed. He joined us 2 weeks ago. Shep is confirmed as well, which is
Jeez.
pretty amazing.
That's great. Pumped up for Shep.
And Stephen Murray asks, will Peter Schwartz, GM of the New York Dragons, be there with his team parking cars for tips? I don't know if you've talked to Schwartz. He's a little bit off the grid right now, but I'm wondering because I did reach out to him about a month ago.
All right, so I haven't, full disclosure, guys, I haven't talked to Schwartz about the Bob's Bar show. I haven't. I know he's been a very busy man. I can tell you the last text I got from Peter Schwartz was simply, do you have a hookup for New York Liberty tickets?
Oh, my God.
On brand, as we can imagine. By the way, a general manager of a team in the New York area doesn't have the hookup. He comes to little old me. Pointed him in the right direction, and he got in said Liberty game. So he went to the Liberty game. Haven't spoke to him since. Not a good tip, no nothing. So we'll see. We'll see if he comes out.
I did reach out to him, and I said, if you'd like to bring any Dragons players or Dragons coaches,
you might have a better chance of a regular Dragon showing up. But
I said, you're more than welcome. If you want to do a meet and greet, autograph signings, he went dark. So I don't know what that means.
I'll be honest with you, folks. I haven't seen a lot about the schedule updates in the Arena League either. So I think the Livingston Mall River Cats might, be having to wait on their home games here. We'll see.
So Sunday's going to be amazing, man. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see your family. Can't wait to see everybody. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for getting Badlands involved.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see you guys. DA's done a tremendous job setting this up. Shout out to Upside Down Mike really stepping in, and I think this event will come together, and it'll come together well, and we'll have a rocking great time to really start summer because it's still been full. I think that's why it's been crappy. I think that's why it's been cold. We haven't had a Bob's Bar show to start summer, so we're looking forward to that.
Yep, the kickoff officially now coming up on Sunday. Thanks, bro. See you on Sunday.
Take care, guys.
Okay.
Love you.
Mraz delivers. Yes, Badlands Booker. Badlands will be there. Oh, this is great. And just so you know, when Badlands has joined us in the past, he will take a photo with every single person that asks. He's not like in a big league yet. If you want a photograph for the living legend, a guy that eats at the hot dog eating contest, Nathan's 4th of July every year, who's been on a million different TV shows, he's a YouTube sensation, and he's there 4th of July. He is the coolest, kindest guy. He's great. He's one of us, which is why I love him so much, which is why I want to bring him into the fold as much as I do, because he's just got a huge heart. So that is awesome. Badlands going to be there. As I mentioned off the top, gates open at noon. Watch D.A. Live will broadcast 1 until 2 o'clock Eastern time. Badlands is set to show up around 3, okay? And Badlands will certainly perform. We'll see what he performs in that 3 o'clock hour. Live music begins at 2 o'clock. The whole series of events is right now on the Eventbrite RSVP link that I've sent out on Instagram the last 2 days on my Instagram stories, and then also on Twitter yesterday. I'll send it out again. But it's there. Pass it along to anybody that is going to be coming if they need it. It's got the address. It's got the timeline. It's got the RSVP. And please RSVP if you're going to come so I know a head count on food and drink. We will have everything covered. Okay, you don't have to bring anything. I would encourage you to BYOB if you got something you want to share. I just think it's cool when we've had other Bob's Bars and it's like, oh, I brought this from so-and-so. Oh, I got this. You should try this. I just love that part of it, but don't think you got to show up with anything. We've got food, drink covered. You guys are making the trip. Food, drink, music. It's on me, okay? So fear not. Now, might we have a donation jar in there if you want to keep the band going for an extra hour? Sure. Is there going to be a donation in case we want to buy a little bit extra food, put it towards the beer? Sure, but you are not expected to bring anything. Just bring yourselves. It's enough. I cannot wait. Although bring a little bit of cash for the ice cream truck guy because that's not paid for. So that's the way it's going to go down, and I'm so glad Badlands is going to be there. That is awesome. Speaking of, we all are going to toast next week, come together as one, and it's time for an exhale cocktail. On Wednesday, I went out to Citi Field. I had a rare afternoon with a matinee Mets, and I had tickets. I've got this ticket plan. I rarely get to use the tickets as much as I'd like because we've got family commitments these days with AJ and company. But I did have an afternoon to go out there on Wednesday, and of course, it rained all day. But didn't mean I couldn't get my lunch in. And because it was a day game, moved from night to day, friends and family only. So there was a very empty ballpark, as you can see. But these are my seats here in the outfield, kind of directly center field, about 3 rows up. And I got the Pat LaFrida Steakhouse invite. Okay, this was inner sanctum Jedi Council type stuff that I got in there. And it was National Burger Day. Babs had told me National Burger Day earlier in the day on the morning show. So I got myself a Pat LaFrida burger. That's tomato. That's a slice of nice American cheese, nice big fat onion, fresh, some lettuce. You got the fries there, a big old beer. That's a Coors Light in that big old beer. And it was absolutely phenomenal. And then they topped it off with this dessert that I brought to my seat. And it is like a peanut butter and chocolate cup topped with a banana cream whip, which I was like, wow, that was something else. Upside Down Mike is saying in the chat, wait, you went to the Mets game after you stopped at my house? Indeed. I had to get back home. And so I left Upside Down Mike's house, and I'm like driving towards Citi Field, and I see the exits, and I'm like, I got tickets for today. Do I stop by while it's raining? And I'm like, I need some lunch. I could at least see like a couple of at-bats. So I stayed for like 3 innings. I had my lunch. I got the beer, and I sat down in my seats, and it started drizzling, and I was like, I could do this for another inning or so. And after the third, I said, all right, I saw my day. I saw my game. I got my burger and beer. Time to go home. And then I sat in traffic on the Triborough Bridge because there was no overturned car. Nice. So, yes, that is my Exhale cocktail. And as we make our way through the summer, I want you guys to send us your Exhale cocktails as well. Shots as you were enjoying your summer, maybe enjoying the show, and we'll post them here on the show as we get them moving forward to the summer. I got a little moment of zen as well. The Pacers and Knicks gave us some of the old feels. If you're an old 90s head like me, those two teams met so many times in the NBA playoffs, the 90s and early 2000s. And they all seem to be epic series. And so I dug into the archives, and we were doing this last summer. You might remember doing the Sports Zen moments. How about this? Reggie in those old school Pacers uniforms at Madison Square Garden, stealing a game from the hated Knicks. These two rivals were just at each other's throats. And I tell you, this series was so much fun. Those series back in the day were so much fun. And this image brought me back there. So I thought this was pretty cool for your Sports Zen moment of the day. We did this last summer as well, and that was always fun, so we wanted to bring it back as well. And time for your Little Mo laugh. And Little Mo is going to be with us next week, I'm sure, watching over us at Bob's Bar and laughing his laugh, and he's going to be there in spirit with us. Well, Little Mo would certainly be laughing at John Halliburton, Tyrese Halliburton's dad, who got kicked out of the playoffs, remember, for getting into with Giannis, then got invited back, then got put up in the suite and was dancing his face off up in the suite. You might have seen him cheering and dancing and taunting seemingly, and then he got on the floor. So John Halliburton's career arc going from high to low to back high and just partying with Pacers fans last night, partying with the team, partying with his son. That was a cool moment. And all of his crazy gesticulations and taunting and cheering and laughing and everything, I'm sure Little Mo would be very, very happy with seeing him do all the crazy antics that he's been doing over the last couple of weeks. So, or at least the last couple of nights. So pretty good stuff there. All right. Before we get out of here, Aiden, do we want to rip through a few comments so we can say thank you to all the D-aliens for stopping on by tonight?
100%. And can I make my own announcement as Bob's Bar approaches as well?
Absolutely.
So this isn't my normal background, as you some of them may know. I'll get harassed in the chat. I'm in Milwaukee right now, my second home of the Marquette Marvel. And, well, the Marquette Marvel is anywhere. But I figured, hey, I'm in Milwaukee hanging with friends for the weekend, and, what can I contribute? And tomorrow, I'll be flying home back to Boston, and for the Wisconsinites in the chat, they know New Glarus Spotted Cow, the best beer, hands down.
Oh, you're bringing Spotted Cow?
You can only get it within the state lines of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm bringing a pack. I'm going to buy it, get past TSA, bring the pack with me. My heavy ass bag will be getting back to Boston tomorrow, and it'll be with me on Sunday.
That is awesome. Spotted Cow is iconic Wisconsin beer. I don't know if I've ever had it. If I have, it was a long time ago. I've heard great things about it. So that is awesome. And, Moist Pork is going to love you for that. He's a big beer aficionado. He's got all like the craft beers. He's tried them all. He loves the certain ones he knows. So that's a great one. He's going to give you major props on that.
I hope so, because he is the beer snob of the show. It's not too heavy. It's not an IPA. It's a light beer. It's what I like. It's what everybody likes is the majority. So that'll be with me as well.
Love it. All right.
As far as our winners tonight, we've done a lot of comments throughout the night. Upside Down Mike, star of the show. Can't wait to see you next week. And thank you again for hosting. We've had a lot of our regulars in the chat as well, but some newbies as well. And so I want to reward Falk Nasty. Wow, I have to say that slowly. D.A. and Mraz, glad he tuned in. Yes, happy to see Mraz as well. So hit us up, D.A. or myself, or just hit up the email, watchda@gmail.com. T-shirt size, address. We'll get you your Last Dive bar gear.
Falk Nasty. All right. Excellent stuff. Yeah, I've been reading through the comments as Aiden's been posting them up there, reading through them. Also some that didn't get up there. You guys have been on fire tonight, and I thank you very much for being excited about next week along with me, because me and Aiden are super fired up. All the guys, some of the guys that are going to be there, I have not seen since I left CBS, which was now almost 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years in October. So you're talking about 19 months, something like that, 20 months. So I am so excited. I'm so excited to see so many D-aliens. I'm so excited to get Badlands back in the conversation. I haven't seen Caserta since I left for Sirius. I haven't seen Bogues since I left for Sirius. Bogues did not show up to Bob's Bar in November. Not happy about that. And I have yet to see him. So assuming Bogues is going to be there, that's going to be awesome. But it's just, it really is a way for me to say thank you for allowing me to do this, which is connect with people that I feel a kinship with, that feel a connection to me, and come together to do good things and to laugh. I just really think it's important to laugh. I just think it's important to smile and laugh. And however we can get there is a good enough reason to do it. And that's going to be next weekend. And for those that couldn't make this one, it's okay. Tune in next week, 1 until 2 o'clock on YouTube right here. We'll broadcast live, same place that you're watching it now. We'll broadcast live and do a live show and just try to make the next one, because this has become a super close, tight-knit family. And it means a great deal to me that you come here on Sunday nights and you watch and you comment in the videos and you care about what we do and you listen to Sirius XM and that thing that you carried over from CBS to still be with me here. And maybe you carried it before CBS at one of my local stops, is an incredible thread that we all have together that I really do cherish. So as I mentioned before, we do have a membership thing going on with with the YouTube channel. So if you wanted to join for $3.99 a month, you'll get exclusive content and exclusive Q and DA live chats, and also discount on the merchandise. Last Dive Bar tells me we will have a DA show merch for the first time ever coming up on Sunday. So thus the merch store is going to be available and live coming up on Sunday. So that's going to be exciting. And a cast of thousands is going to be there, which is just freaking amazing. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for spending your time with me on a Sunday night. It is so cool. I love watching the comments. I love seeing the chat room just be ablaze. And we got Robbie, we got Caserta, we got Shep, we got Badlands, we got Mraz, we got a live band, we got tons of D-aliens. We just have got a killer day set up a week from now, and it's going to be a true holiday, a holiday, if you will. So that'll wrap up for us tonight here on the show. Be good to one another. Thanks to Aid and the Marquette Marvel for producing as always. I'll see you on Sunday, everybody. The mothership disconnects.